Hello and welcome back, folks. It's me, Eddie, and this is my show, the Eddie G Comic Culture Forum. Once again, it's brought to you guys by the one and only good folks over at Black Apparel. Sending a special shout out to my brother and good friend, Kevin Seawright, thanking him once again for all the work and contributions that he's made towards the show. His assistance has been phenomenal. Make sure you guys check out the website at www.blackapparelblk.com. They've got some pretty great content as well as some awesome merchandise. So if and whenever you have the chance, make sure you check them out. And as I usually do, I send a special shout out to my good friends on Instagram. First and foremost, the Strictly Comedy Vault. He's a young man, an up and coming writer, and he's got some good content on his page. If you guys have an account, make sure you check it out. He keeps it refreshed with all sorts of photos regarding films, regarding comic books, regarding Funko figures. The man is pretty great at what he does. I'm pretty sure you guys will be pleasantly pleased with what you have to see. And also sending another special shout out to Blu-ray Dan, another friend on Instagram who has got some great content on his page. But not only that, he also has his own YouTube channel, and basically he discusses all these Blu-rays that he gets and on Ultra 4K Blu-rays as well. Unboxings for these incredible movies, both old and new. Very insightful reviews as well. So if and when you guys also have the chance to check him out, please stop by and see his page. And last but definitely not least, I want to send a special shout out to a good friend of mine in New York City. He's a dear writer. He's a good writer, actually, and a dear friend. His name is Dennis Knight. He has his own comic book by the name of Cross. It's published by Pronto Comics. They've been pretty consistent with the work so far. He's actually going to be appearing, if you guys have tickets to it, at the New York Comic Con within the next 2 weeks. It's on October 5th to October 8th. I'm going to be keeping this page posted once I get the information. So if you guys have tickets and you want to stop by his booth, I'll give you the booth number and check out all the material that he's got there. Trust me, it's excellent. So, with that being said, I'm going to kickstart this episode off. This is just going to be a brief news reel of discussion. So it apparently looks like Warner Brothers has actually done their test screening for Justice League. And it seems that some sort of early reactions, apparently it's not too in detail, and there's not going to be really much reviews regarding that, considering it was a test screening, and these cats usually, the people in attendance usually have, pretty much binded to a clause that they're not allowed to discuss anything regarding the movie. So far, reactions that have been so far that have been pretty positive, actually. They've been pretty good. A few people have called it epic. This is all from BatmanNews.com. And some guy actually said that he hated BVS and Suicide Squad, but actually loved Justice League. So that's a pretty good turnaround. Obviously, we're just waiting to see. This is just a countdown period right about now. We're getting closer and closer to the release date, so it's hard to see what's going to really happen. Hopefully, it's not too, hopefully the success of Wonder Woman actually did some great changes to the film, and I'm pretty sure it did, honestly. I'm really excited to see what's in store for this movie. Finally, we get to see the Justice League on screen and get to see the real heroes that we had, the first team to actually happen in comic book history to really carry this powerhouse. You see the guys behind me right there. That's just part of the roster. Now, in all honesty, this is, like I said, we all have to take this kind of deal with a grain of salt because these things are very much so private, and a lot of these people that are in attendance to this actually have to be binded by a clause to not say anything. But even though it's a good sign, it's a good breath of fresh air to hear some sort of early positive reactions. So with that being said, I'm very excited to see what's going on with this movie. So far, I've also read some confirmed reports that apparently Joss Whedon has actually cut Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor from the movie entirely, which is pretty wild to say the least. But in all honesty, I'm not really bothered by that. I know some guys actually were fans of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor and so on and so forth, his take. But quite frankly, I didn't think he did a bad job. I don't think it was his fault. I just think that it was ridiculous that they made him go so over the top. Because there was at some points in Dawn of Justice, there was a lot of scenes that actually made me like, I don't know. I mean, you know what it reminded me of? His Lex Luthor reminded me of, seriously. It reminded me of Frank Gorshin's The Riddler from the old 1966 Batman series. And that's just, it was campy. It was unnecessarily campy, to say the least. I didn't like how that, out of all people in that movie, to be quite honest, because it was weird to see that Superman was brooding as well as Batman was, even though Superman is like the total polar opposite regarding attitude. As he's the opposite of Batman regarding attitude, completely the polar opposite, if I may say so myself, regardless of how much they have in common. But they made him such a dark and brooding character. It was like Batman 2.0. So that being said, it was a strange mismatch, to say the least, to see that Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, his take and, well, his portrayal, that was the portrayal that he was given to have in the film, was such an over the top kind of campy character. And I'm pretty sure if his role was cut, and I'm pretty positive at this point that was under Zack. His direction didn't change much under Zack Snyder, so I'm presuming at this point, since Zack Snyder is no longer involved in the DC extended universe as much as he was, that they're gonna make some changes regarding his character, and honestly, that's pretty good, because I really don't feel a need for him to have that sort of deliverance on the screen. I think it just undermines the entire character of who Lex Luthor is. He's a billionaire, evil genius, and I understand that they took the old take of him being a mad scientist and then just exploited it to a whole nother level. So with that being said, I'm actually happy that they did that, because it actually gives the studio a chance to go back to the drawing board and actually rework his character, tweak it up to something else, so it's not something laughable, to say the least, which is good. It's really good, honestly. So if you think about it, don't. I wouldn't fret about his absence in the film so much. I'm pretty sure it's coming. I'm pretty sure he will be back in the next Superman film, as they are. There's been a lot of rumblings going on with another Superman film as of recent, and I know tomorrow's release is for the Kingsman: The Golden Circle, and I know that it's gonna be something. Something's gonna happen. I'm fairly certain that we'll be hearing an announcement shortly regarding the next Superman film. So with that being said, I'd rather, like I said, I'd rather wait for them to go ahead and rework the character for what it's worth. And also, I wanted to discuss and touch upon the news today that they're finally releasing Superman the movie. They're gonna put it on Ultra. I think it's actually going on Blu-ray. It's gonna be an extended cut, the 3 hours actually. I don't know if it's gonna be in 4K. They should. It should be at 4K considering what it is, but it's gonna be. It's actually gonna contain the extended cut which is a 3 hour. It's gonna be 3 hours long, and then the special edition, which is pretty much almost the same thing. The original. I love Christopher Reeve Superman. I do. I love it very much. I grew up watching these films. However, the first movie is extremely long. So to have a 3 hour movie, that's like a. I don't know. And mind you, this was before Zack Snyder decided to do the same thing. So, but I digress. Richard Donner worked some magic on the screen, especially for what it was at that time. I can't deny that those movies are a product of their time, both both Superman the movie and Superman 2. But I'm still ecstatic, and I will be picking it up no matter what. So with that being said, I'm just hoping that the release date is cool, and the release date gives me enough time for me to pick it up, and if not, I'll just order it off of Amazon, if anything, so I don't have to deal with anybody, any kind of craziness with lines or sold, or the copies being sold out. But it's pretty interesting to see that, and I can't wait and hopefully they do the same thing with Superman 2. I couldn't care less about Superman 3 or 4. I mean, I tried to watch Superman 3 years ago when it was playing on cable, and this is when I was living with my brother in the Bronx, and I remember watching the movie, and then I was just like, Jesus, this movie was so stupid. It didn't get any good until the final scene with Clark and Superman, when Clark finally separated and fought the evil Superman. That was about the only cool thing about it, but the rest was just absolute stupidity. But they made it like because it was too much trying to be. They trying to make it so much like a goofball comedy, and particularly so by adding Richard Pryor, so it really just lost its it really lost its magic. It got it was corny to say the least, but hopefully we'll just have those two special editions. That's all. Even though I know it's I know the other movies are already on Blu-ray, which I don't know why, but I don't know who the hell in their right mind would want to watch Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. I'm sure there are fans out there, but no, no. I can never see. I can't sit down through it. It was just ridiculous. I think I'm gonna do an episode on Superman 4: The Quest for Peace because I was watching it like a couple of months ago on Netflix as it was being played, and I saw so many things that were wrong in that film that was ridiculous. But yeah, man, just to give it a good, give it a good push. I'm letting you guys know that so far it looks like it's getting some good word. Hopefully, Justice League can carry that good word of mouth, and we'll be waiting for it to see. But until then, we gotta wait until the critics get their hands on it. Because in all honesty, whether you want to believe it or not, and it's always gonna be good to have an opinion. I'm not saying not to judge anything off of your own opinion at all, but at the same token, like, good critics, good reviews from critics push the movie. They push the film financially so it can make money, and the more they do that, the more it can, the more money it generates, the more of a plus it is because we get more of these films because of that. So, like it or not, whether you hate the fact, and I know there's some people that are right now considerably, there's some people that are considerably upset about Snyder's departure, and considerably even more upset about Joss Whedon's involvement. To me, I think that's just stupid. In all honesty, like realistically speaking, you cannot get upset. You really can't, because Snyder, he gave a good platform, but he didn't know what to do with it. In all honesty, he really didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know how to deliver these movies the way they needed to be delivered. There was quite a bit of plot holes in both of those films, which led to Suicide Squad's disaster. And I just don't understand this fan based obsession with him. Like, he is not a god. He is not the god of superhero films. And in all honesty, he's made the most mediocre ones, if all on it. And because watching the Ultimate Edition of Batman versus Superman didn't really do much. It really didn't do much. In all honesty, it just left a whole. It was major. It was just patchwork. That was all it was. In all honesty, it was really patchwork. It didn't go into detail. It didn't explain in detail what these scenes meant. All these references to books for the general audience that didn't know. It wasn't there. So with that being said, it was just like, man, he has to go. I don't even know why. I know they had him on a short leash with Justice League, and they were pretty much, I heard there was rumbling. There was rumblings even during pre-production, directly after the release of Dawn of Justice, that he was having some problems on the set from the higher ups and the execs, and understandably so, because he deserved it. You don't deliver these 3-hour films and then not have any sort of and then not have any you don't have these. You don't get to make these long films that do not have a cohesive storyline. I don't care what these people say. A lot of people are saying the same. Like, he's a genius. He is not a genius. The man is nowhere near a Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg. He's not even a James Cameron. He's not even a J.J. Abrams, to be honest with you. The man is just he's a mediocre storyteller at best, but behind the lens, and that's just it. I feel for the fact that he has I feel for him over the fact that the personal tragedy that he suffered earlier this year. It's a very terrible thing. I don't, but that's neither here nor there. That's his personal life. It has nothing to do with maybe on our end, it has nothing to do with what he has done with his job, and his job was to make a cohesive and good film, to deliver something that was actually comprehensive, and people could just grasp onto it and not lose themselves and these ridiculous edits that were just cut off. Granted, the fact that a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that jump into his defense. They really jump into his defense, and I have no idea. And the one thing, like I always said, is I don't understand why. I don't understand what's this obsession with him. Why he doesn't, like, he's not the savior of all films. He's really not. You know, you got the Russo brothers who've done a better job. Patty Jenkins has done an extraordinary job. That's one of his peers, which I knew was going to happen. I knew exactly that was going to happen. I'm going to tell you guys right now that it was going to happen because of the simple fact as I watch. They're going to go ahead, somebody, one of his peers, they had Patty Jenkins and James Wan. One directing, Patty directing Wonder Woman, James directing Aquaman. Now, both of these people, both of these directors have had major films under their belts. You know, Patty doing some stuff with that. Her main film was Monster with Charlize Theron. I haven't seen it honestly, but it killed in the Oscars that year. And then James Wan, who has had great financial success and critical success as well with both Conjuring films. All right, so that tells you right then and there his peers are better at his job than he is. How are you going to have someone who's not? How do you have someone whose work is pretty much mediocrity at its finest? And be heading up a major tentpole franchise, and then the other peers that are there are miles ahead of him in their in the same field. Honestly, you know, like I said, I don't take nothing away from him. I know he gave a great he gave a great platform for the studio to jump off of. And I'm pretty sure, give or take, some great writers, they can explain and put and piece this universe together correctly the way it needs to be done, and not have anything sort of look like a dark, eccentric, grainy film. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really just not a good move. It was time for him to go. So with that being said, excuse me. With that being said, I'm actually kind of looking forward to see the Joss Whedon edit, and honestly, and it's like I said, and I said it before, and I'll say it again to you guys, as if the movie turns out to be great, you know exactly who's the one that is going to be getting that credit for, and it's not Zack. It will not be Zack Snyder at all, by far. So it was just pretty bad, to say the least. But it's over, and we just gotta wait to see what the future will hold, what the future holds for us. Well, we already know what it's gonna bring, so let's see what it hold. Let's see how they deliver for the next couple of rounds. So here's to Justice League. Here's to the future success. I know they're probably gonna, Wonder Woman. I'm definitely, Wonder Woman is. I'm still gonna pick it up. I'm gonna try to pick it up this weekend. So let's see them carry this torch a lot further to the finish line in the Olympics, but actually with a gold medal. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna close this episode out and finish up right about now with this, and want to thank you guys once again for riding out with me as usual. I'm going to be recording another episode in just a second. And hey, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you know where the comment section is. Make sure you hit it up. Let me know exactly if there's anything you want to see. You want to see me talk about in future episodes. I want to I want to hear from you guys I want your feedback to know what it is that you want to talk about, what you want me to talk about. Let's discuss this. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you around. Take care.